Boss Graham, a Hawaiian Kalua pork sandwich with coleslaw. Let me show you how to do it. So my wife and I, for our 10-year anniversary, went to Hawaii. And we met up with this Hawaiian dude that gave us this idea for this salt right here. I will have the name of it in the comments below. But we asked him for authentic Hawaiian salt. He goes, for what? And I said, I want to make Kalua pork when I get there. He goes, well, this is what I use. And he pointed me in the direction of that salt there. So, this is a pork butt, the shoulder roast. And what I'm doing is, this is the fat cap. And I'm just going to cut diamond-like slices into it. So I'm going to cut it in one direction, then I'm going to spin it around and cut it in the other direction. And I'm going about a 1/2 inch deep because I really want the salt to penetrate and really season the meat throughout. So once you get done, just give it a little spin around, not that far. There you go. And you're just going to cut in the opposite direction, and it's going to create a diamond pattern. Isn't the music great? Now you want to keep the fat cap on there. It's super important. That is pure flavor. So I flipped it over, and now I'm finishing up cutting the same thing on the back side, on the bottom. So next we're going to use our salt. And you're not going to like pack it in, but you are going to salt it, you know, you're going to season it well. I would say probably 2 tablespoons per side max, maybe less. I didn't really measure. Hey, you're on island time, you do what you want. Rub it in, rub it in. Yep. Get all that salt in there. Now I'm transferring it over to this Le Creuset thing. Now you can see my fat cap is up, and that's how you want to cook it. You want to cook it up so that fat melts and it just marinates throughout the meat. And that grabs all that salt flavor and takes it with it. So don't feel bad about spreading open your knife cuts to get that salt in there, because you really want to get it in there. Pure flavor. And regular salt will not work. You can't use Epsom's, you can't use rock salt, you can't use kosher salt. You really need to get this Hawaiian salt. Again, I'll provide you with the name down below. Once you get that in there, give it a good rub, pat it down, tell it it's a good boy. Next is liquid smoke. Now, why liquid smoke? Traditionally, these things are cooked underground for 24 hours, wrapped in banana leaves. So they get that smoky flavor. This is less than 1/2 teaspoon of liquid smoke. And I'm using this brush so that I can evenly distribute it throughout. I don't want to have one side smoky and the other side nothing. So I'm going to use the brush and get it down in there. And then we're going to put a lid on it. And we're going to cook it for 8.5 to 10 hours at 250 degrees in the oven. Put a lid on it. If you don't have one of these, any pan will work. Just cover it with foil. And 8.5 hours later, booyah! Now how do you know it's done? Do you need a thermometer? No. What you need is a fork. Put a fork in it. If the fork slides in it super easy with no resistance, then it's done. You ever hear the saying, put a fork in it and it's done? Yeah, look at that. Slides in like butter until you hit the bone. Here's another way of knowing that you have successfully cooked your pork very well. Look how clean that bone just popped right out. Look at that. I couldn't find boneless, so I got bone in. But look, now it's boneless because that was it, and it came out with no meat on it. Yum! The next thing we're going to do is, there's a lot of fat and it's really salty at the bottom, a lot of liquid. So I'm going to take the meat out really quick, put it on a cutting board, and I'm also going to start to remove a lot of the fat cap because it's already done all of its wonderful things. People like it and leave it in, and that's fine. I choose to remove it. See all that liquid at the bottom there? I'm going to dump that out into a big old 4-cup measuring cup, because you want to reserve it. That's super salty, but it's also super flavorful. So as I shred my meat, like I'm doing here with just 2 forks, if I feel it's getting dry, then I'm going to pour some of that in there. And you control it. You're in control of how much of the drippings you put back in as needed. And again, you control the salt intake by doing that as well. And I'm here to tell you, this is the best pork I've ever made. True story. Let's make a sandwich. So I'm going to pile it up on high here. I got my hamburger bun. I'm going to just put a lot of meat on there because, you know, this is Kalua pork. Some chunks I left a little big. That's alright. They ate up fine. It's just so tender and delicious. I can't even tell you. Once you get the pork on there, this is optional, of course, but I love it. We're going to throw some slaw on top. Look at that. Booyah. Creamy coleslaw. It goes great. It goes great on a Kalua pork sandwich. Let's slap a bun on it and call me good. Yum City. Hey, I hope you like this video. Please subscribe, learn some new international stuff, and please hit like on that video. Have a great day. Aloha.